Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here, and welcome to another video. And in this video, we're going to do a little bit of detective work. We're going to try and break down, dissect this latest promo teaser video package that WWE aired on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Now it's clear from the previous videos, and we broke this down in previous videos, that this promo teaser, especially the early ones, is leading towards Edge. Just the whole Eddie Guerrero reference, Kurt Angle reference, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, Brood references, Ministry of Darkness references. This is all previous encounters really that Edge had in the past around the 2000 era. Okay, they have all that in common really. They're around the same sort of time. Now this latest video, teaser, video package if you like, is pointing more towards the 2006 era, roughly around the mid 2000s, because of course we're seeing references to Randy Orton around the rated RKO time, John Cena's merchandise, You Can't See Me merchandise around that similar era, and of course the iconic Mick Foley burnt flannel top, which of course was a throwback in reference to WrestleMania 22, when Edge did that badass spear to Mick Foley through the table and literally set him alight due to some help from Lita. So clearly WWE are making this obvious. Now why would WWE make it so obvious that it was Edge? Why would they waste and invest so much time into these video packages only a few weeks after he was expelled from Judgment Day? It was June the 6th that Edge was expelled from Judgment Day. Why would they be investing time in this cryptic video that we blatantly know is Edge? And I think it's because it's not just Edge. Edge isn't just coming alone. Why would you invest this much time into one of your flagship premium events in SummerSlam and the build up towards that if they weren't delivering? I mean, imagine how disappointed people would be if Edge just returned on his own. And it wouldn't make sense. Why would you return on your own as a loner to fight a faction? It's a sure way to get your head kicked in, right? You're going to want a powerful ally. And we've mentioned the possibility that that ally could be none other than Bray Wyatt, or the Fiend Bray Wyatt, and him returning to WWE. And there really is the possibility to be explored there. Now, I think WWE have been really clever here. They might be really dumb, but let's give them the credit. I think they're being clever because they're making it, you believe as a viewer, the only person that can physically be coming back is Edge, because everything leads to Edge, everything links to Edge. But if you look at things a little bit deeper, WWE have managed to link those characters, those performers, those former WWE superstars, also with Bray Wyatt. They have connections. Now, Eddie Guerrero, you can kind of write that one out. I think that's just a red herring thrown in there because the rest of the superstars he has or potentially was going to have an involvement. Dudley Boys is a Bray Wyatt persona. He had obviously dealings with them. Certainly Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy not so much, but there was rumours at one point that there was going to be some form of Jeff Hardy as the Willow version of Jeff Hardy and the Fiend in some sort of sync, in some sort of partnership. So there were plans there. So you could say potentially there was some involvement. Kurt Angle, obviously the Fiend attacked Kurt Angle. We know that. And of course Eddie Guerrero is a bye, but of course the whole dark vibe and persona and the way that video was presented has Bray Wyatt vibes, right? And if we look at the latest videos, you've got John Cena. Well, the Fiend fought John Cena in the Firefly Funhouse match that they had at WrestleMania 36. Unraveled Cena's past and defeated him. So there is a past connection there, right? Randy Orton, obviously a past connection there. Randy Orton was a huge part of the Fiend and Bray Wyatt's history, right? Huge connections. So you already got John Cena and Randy Orton, and so obvious, Mick Foley. The Fiend attacked Mick Foley, and not only did the Fiend attack Mick Foley, he took his finishing maneuver in the mandible claw and continued to use that as the Fiend alter ego, as the Fiend gimmick. So there's connections both ways between Edge and Wyatt, excusing Eddie Guerrero, not to mention all the darkness, the aura around those video packages and the presentation, it screams Bray Wyatt. It really, really does. And there's so many signs. You think after that WrestleMania sort of season, if you like, a WrestleMania Backlash, Pat McAfee publicly obviously mentions a Fiend mask that's in the front row. That's strictly forbidden from WWE to mention a former superstar so publicly, so openly. Yes, we know it's Pat McAfee, probably getting a bit excited on a few too many caffeine supplements, but he mentioned him. Then we get a string of, well, actually before that, Alexa Bliss returns with an unfinished character. Didn't make sense after all the therapy sessions. Something was in limbo there, which made me question things. Then Bray Wyatt is active on social media. He starts tweeting all these cryptic messages, and one really stood out to me, and one links to one of the first promo videos that we saw, and it was in relation to the lock. And if you notice in the previous video before this one, there was a lock and there was 3 knocks on the lock. Now Bray Wyatt on the 22nd of May on Twitter put up a tweet about basically you wouldn't want to lock up something that potentially you want to see fly. Now I can't quote the exact line, I'll pop that up on the screen in a moment, but it was a Chris Cornell Soundgarden lyric, okay? But has the lock got a connection with the lock that we saw in the previous video? Now we know there's a connection obviously with fireflies. Look at Bray Wyatt's profile picture on his Twitter at the moment, and look at that, that's clearly some sort of moth with literally the Fiend's face in. Now, is that locked up? Is that going to be released? Is Edge going to knock it? Are those 3 knocks that we heard let me in or let me out? A lot of clues. And then, of course, on the 6th of June, we know Edge got expelled from Judgment Day. Does that have a connection with Wyatt 6? We're seeing 6 light bulbs appear in the previous videos, promo teaser videos. One with a circle. A lot of you have mentioned things coming full circle, it being a whole year since we saw the Fiend released from WWE and then making a triumphant return at WWE a year later, things coming full circle at SummerSlam. There's so many connections, there's so many points, and at the end of this video this week that we watch, you can clearly see this hand, and it's almost like, assume it's Edge, could be someone else. You notice the whole time this person roaming around is outside of the room, and then we can only assume maybe there's another person in that room. So there's more than one person. I could be reaching here. That to me looks like the start of down. You go cross. I know this is reverse on the screen. That way I should be doing it. L. Could it be spelling let me in? I know it's a reach, and you look at the way, you know, obviously it's in the blood, it's in the red. That's the kind of graphics of the Fiend let me in catchphrase, right? When they present that on WWE TV. And I know this is probably the biggest reach of them all, but just imagine WWE exploring the possibility. We know how, right, invested The Undertaker is in WWE. We know his wrestling days are pretty much done, but we know how passionate he is about the company. He referenced Bray Wyatt at the Hall of Fame speech. He clearly has respect. Around that period, there's no way that there wasn't some form of communication between Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker. Massively reaching here, but imagine if it was Edge, Bray Wyatt, and The Undertaker as the manager. Like, just imagine that in a new Ministry of Darkness Mark II. Like, that would be incredible. That would be like, if I was in charge of WWE, that's what I would do. But let's be realistic, that's probably never ever going to happen. Of course, there's a possibility that Bray Wyatt may never come back to WWE, but there's too many things going on. Like Alexa Bliss teasing Sister Abigail, that maneuver, while she has an unfinished character. Like, all of these things are a bit odd. You just think, what is going on? It almost feels like they're in stalemate in WWE. And WWE need Bray Wyatt big time. They need the Fiend, but maybe not even the Fiend, it could be something else. And I do believe that potentially we may see another evolution of the Fiend. Now, if you also look at that image where you got the person writing something we assume could be let me in, if you look a bit closer, again, I'll let your imagination run wild with this, just look at that, pause that moment just now and see if you notice a face, because I seem to notice a face on there, like a creepy, like almost drippy lips, an odd figure. And I think from previous teaser pictures, sketches that we've seen Bray Wyatt bring up on social media, if you look at his Instagram, his profile picture on there is like a really like evolved version, it seems, of the Fiend. He's put numerous sketches up, which I'll show up in a moment, which are like, and especially the one now that I'm bringing up, you know, this creepy kind of like, it's like it's got brains coming out of its forehead. Like, what the heck is that? Is that potentially what we're seeing something similar to in that mirror image? Absolutely love dissecting all of this. I'm having so much fun trying to piece this all together, but I honestly believe there's some form of connection with someone else, and it seems to make sense. And if you look at these video packages and the whole way that they've been presented, they're literally in black and red. That is like the Fiend's colours, especially red. He wrestled matches under red lights. There's far too many cryptic teasers. This is far too clever for WWE creative in a way, which makes me feel that Bray Wyatt is involved massively in this. It's too clever for it just to be an Edge return. It's obvious, and when people comment, it's definitely Edge. It is, yeah, but it's not just Edge, is it? There's definitely others to follow. Is Edge gonna let him in or let him out? Remains to be seen, but interesting theory anyway. As always, be really appreciative if you could like the video, share the video, of course comment, get down in the comments section, share your thoughts and opinions, and of course if you're new, be really appreciative if you could subscribe. It would mean the world. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you've lasted this long, you're an absolute legend, and we'll see you in another, I'm sure, another putting the pieces together. What do you think? Next week we might see Edge's encounters from more modern times potentially in the teaser videos. We've seen, of course, John Cena, Randy Orton and Mick Foley. Could we be moving forward to maybe 2010 onwards? Remains to be seen. Thank you for watching. See you soon.